All right, here we go. Hello, everyone, and it's the equinox, the spring equinox today. And I was reading something yesterday about the spring equinox that when the Earth is completely aligned with itself, that it creates these solar fissions. And it's kind of an interesting thought, especially since we're talking about solar winds and all of these other winds. For those of you who are just joining me and you've never been on one of my webinars before, I'm a little bit irreverent. I'm Renee and I'm the practical shaman. And what does that mean? Well, the practical part comes in that I believe that you need a basic foundation, you need a plan, and you need the energy that can help you achieve that plan. So whereas, you can do a lot of energy work and get lost in the ethers, I'm there like, I did this same workshop the other day in New York, and it was like, okay, everyone, what's your plan? And then I found myself a lot of time refining the plan with people. So being practical, I sent you, did everyone open their morning email? Because I sent you, there was a download there where you could actually download this sheet so you could fill out your answers and stay with me. So how do you know if you had a plan that you achieved your goals if you don't have a way of measuring it? And for me, it's like an accountant, they measure their columns. Well, I measure my plans because I can go back and look next year and see how I did. So if you haven't downloaded and have this piece of paper handy, that's okay. But if you have a minute here while I get started and make these introductions, please feel free to print it, have it there, get a piece of paper, a pencil, all of that stuff that you need for yourself. And I don't know if did everyone get it? I don't know if I can attach it over here, but so get that going, and then I'll probably work and explain to you what's on here. But again, if you don't have it and you're just happier with a piece of scrap paper, that's okay too, because I do a lot of my visioning on paper. A lot of people here, so I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Renee, the practical shaman. And as I was telling people who got here just a minute ago, that practical is the part of putting the pedal to the metal. And the shaman part is about the part that understands that energy is energy, everything is energy, and everything is connected through the wind energy. So as you learn to work and cooperate with these winds of spirit, you are then capable of empowering your dreams. And so one of the ways we're going to empower our dreams today is with some wind knots. Now, I don't expect everyone to have rope, and I couldn't attach it to your file. So you could do this part later. And really, if you want to really go deeper with these wind knots and this winds of spirit energy work, this wind work process, you may want to take the 5-week course, which I'll announce at the end of the end. Oh, look at, I'm watching myself twice. Here, let me close this one off. That's funny, I'm up in the top corner. And you might want to study with this process and learn more about it. But today what we're going to do, I just thought I'd tell you a little overview. I'm going to tell you about what the wind work is and the tools of the wind work. Of course, I'm going to be telling you that everyone should have this book. I don't know, I hope it's not in reverse. It probably is. Winds of Spirit, because it has this wind knot process in it that you're going to be using today. And for those of you who like to read on Kindle, it's still on sale for $1.99, so you can't go wrong with that. I want to introduce you to the wind whistle, the wind cards, and tell you a little bit about where you can see me this year. And then by this time, hopefully people have got their PDF, because we're going to get right into what this webinar is about. And it's about empowering your seeds for spring. And what does that mean? The system of the wind work is based on aligning to nature. And why do we want to align to nature? Well, because if the spring equinox creates solar fissions in the planet, and this has been going on for eons since humans have traveled on the earth plane, people have always been guided by nature up until a couple thousand years ago, when we made that move from the farms and the nomads and the farming and then into the cities. We kind of lost our way. And So, oh, good, everyone has their attachment. So while we know that nature's out there, we have billboards going on today that say, hey, remember, get out in nature. Well, the wind started to speak to me when I was on a walk one day and reminded me that people, the ancestors, the ancient ones, always used the wind for navigation. They worked with the wind, they used the wind, and there was a group before of in Turkey that were wind believers. And trust me, I think a lot of people have been wind believers because the Holy Spirit is a wind, Ruach is a wind, Nirvana is a space of no wind. And so this idea of navigating with the wind is not new. In fact, it's ancient. The only thing for me is that I happened to rediscover it one day on a wind walk. And once I said, okay, yeah, I'll take this project on, I was inundated. And then I spent 4 or 5 years doing research about 32 different cultures that had wind gods and goddesses. And to me, that was just fascinating. But how does it apply to you? How do you use it in your life? And that's what we're here to talk about today. One of the tools that I use is a wind whistle. And what I thought I would do to get us started is that I would open up space and we'd call to the 4 cardinal winds from each direction, because these cardinal winds have shown us about how people navigate and organize their consciousness from the earliest cave drawings to before that. Because if on cave drawings you see that people were always preoccupied with where they were in space and time. And then all the way back to the tablets I could find where they talked about the cardinal winds. And the cardinal winds, I just think, have been structures for our way to organize our life, but we just weren't tapping into it as much as we could be, and as the system likes to teach us to do. So today, I'm going to call upon the 4 directional winds just to get us all here. And I'd like to stand up when I blow the wind whistle, so I'm going to have to reorganize this. And I'm just wondering why all of these, everyone's showing up front like that. Whatever. Sorry, we have new people up there now. All right. So make yourself comfortable. I think everyone should be here now. They should have their paper downloaded. And I'm going to call to Eurus, the east wind, because that's the wind that we're going to be working with today. But then I'm going to call to Notus, the south wind. And then I'm going to call to Zephyrus, the west wind, and Boreas, the... Oh, there we go. All right. I don't know about the rest of this, but can you see me now? All right. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping that this is a better view for people. Perfect. All right, so we're going to call into the directions, because what we're doing is we're opening up a sacred space. What does that mean? We're setting a container to let Spirit know that we're moving from Renee the Practical into the mundane, because the work that we're doing is practical and magical. Eurus, the east wind, join us here today as we do this work of envisioning, this work of planting seeds, this work of using this new moon of the equinox to find out what seeds we need to plant and what's the best way that we can achieve our goals this year. Notice the south wind come to us, the wind of our emotions, the wind of our imagination, the winds where we tend to this garden that we're going to plant, the wind that buffers us in the hot noonday sun. Join us here for this circle. Zephyrus, the playful wind of the west. The playful wind of the west, join us. the wind of the physical, the wind of endings, the winds of goal setting. Be here with us. Boreas, the winds of the north, join us here for this sacred equinox circle. You who live beyond the furthest mountain, join us here today as we set this sacred circle for people all over the world who have come here to do this equinox blessing, these equinox prayers, these equinox intention setting ceremony. Join us. All right, somebody's raising their hand. And let's see. I'm not sure. There was a, sorry about that. It's a little tricky when I'm trying to be here and be everything to you. But all right, so let's get started. It's the spring. And in the spring has always been a time for setting your intentions, for planting your seeds. I always say, why would you plant your seeds in January? We're hibernating. You don't get going. I just read somebody, oh, I had a really rough start to getting started this year. Well, trust me, you're not supposed to get started. We're getting started now. We're getting started in the spring. Seeds grow when the conditions are right. And therefore, the conditions start to get right in the spring for planting. And what the first step we want to do is we want to figure out in this spring planting what it is that we want to plant, what it is that you want to grow this year. And a good place to start with that is we're going to do a little simple meditation to find out what your primary topic is for 2018. Now, it might be that you're at the beginning of a cycle, you're starting in new beginnings, or it might be that you have emotional work to do because you started something new and you have to grow emotionally. Like when I was writing the book, I had to keep growing emotionally as I was getting ready to come out into the world. And that meant like going from, wow, do I really have this down, or am I going to, come out and be a fraud? And then in the West, are you harvesting this year? Maybe you've been working at something for the last 7 years, and this is your year where you're harvesting your crop. Or maybe this is a year that you're harvesting no crop, you're turning over the earth, so it gets a year to rest. Because in between everything, every cycle, there's a rest period. And then maybe you're in the north, maybe you're moving into your spirit, and you're like getting that community buy-in, and you're really stepping into your full purpose. And so these are all things that you might be individually working on that you're going to fully plant seeds for this year. Got me? Are you with me so far? So what we're going to do is I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, and we're going to do a meditation to find out what direction you're traveling personally as we're planting seeds for this spring. All right, once you're set, close your eyes. And let's take 3 wind breaths in. And the first wind breath, we're going to see ourselves, when I blow the whistle, connecting into the earth. We're going to take our roots and go all the way into that magnetic core of the earth, because we are magnetic beings. We have this aura around us that connects us to our own magnetic north. And we know we're in magnetic north when we're present, we're doing life that we want to be living, and all of those things that are in order. That's when we know that we're really aligned to where we're going. When we're discomfort, diseased, all of those things, we may be a little bit off center. So we're going to go and do this meditation, find out where we're aligning to in this moment, and give us a clue as to what seeds we might be planting this year. Close your eyes. Feel those roots of your feet going down into the earth. And on the next wind, we're going to call into Eurus, the east wind, because we're working in this wind of the spring, this season of planting. So you're going to feel Uranus actually coming in and engaging with you. And with the third wind, we're going to imagine this wind coming in through the top of our head, going out our pelvis, and creating like a donut, a torus around of energy that our own magnetic field is going to protect us as we do this work, and it's going to help inform us as we go. And now with your eyes closed, I want you to envision yourself in your favorite spot in nature. And imagine yourself getting up and starting to walk. And as you walk, look for the signposts. There might be an actual sign. There could be a sunrise, a sunset. There could be a body of water, an ocean, a lake, a stream you're familiar with. And see what direction you're heading. And you might just know it, you might sense it, you might feel it. And take that and this, write down on your sheet of paper, on this worksheet that I gave you, the current direction of travel. And now you could be going in a different direction if you do this in 2 hours, but this is so you can pinpoint one particular issue that you want to work on, that you want to plant seeds for this year. Does everyone have a direction that they're traveling? Anyone doubting it or questioning it? You might want to just put over in the chat, yes, we have our direction. It's a little tricky when I'm just talking to myself here. Okay, we have somebody who's in the east. We have somebody in the east. We have somebody in the northwest. Good. Perfect. Yay. Oh, somebody's not sure. Okay. So if you're not sure, close your eyes again and take a second and start to see yourself leaving a doorway or a window from your own home. Something that you're really familiar with. What door are you heading out? Does that help? Okay. All right, so now we know we're going north. So let me just give you a quick description of what the next place is what kind of a movement you're going to be looking for this spring. So those who are traveling east, you're probably either starting a new project and there's a new way of thinking about something in your life. So you think about, while I go through the other directions, or listen about what that might be that you want to start new this year, or that you are thinking that something you need to change your mind about, or a belief that might be keeping you from going exactly where you want to go. I need a belief that I can fill up my workshop with 300 people in order to, I don't know, to be a rock star. Whatever. But whatever the belief is, I had to believe that I did enough research on this book in order to feel confident that it would be a good thing to come out with in the world. I had to change that belief, and I did. So if you're traveling south, there's an emotional part of this. So what emotion keeps you stuck where you are, or might keep you from planting those seeds? If only I could feel love, I would be complete. You know, if only I had somebody tending to my needs, I could get what I needed. I could get what I want in the world. So there's the emotional component for those who are traveling south. For those who are in the West, what have you been working on that you're ready to harvest this year? Maybe you've been writing a book for 4 years and this is the year you're going to bring it out. Or maybe you've been working on your physical health and now you're ready to get back out into the world and go dancing and do more playful things. Maybe this is a year that you're going to be creating more space in yourself so you can make a move next year into doing something you want. So this whole year is about finding that spaciousness in your life. And those of you who are traveling north, maybe there's a couple of ideas that you either are working on your spiritual path or the work you're doing this year is to find the community buy-in. For example, I had a holistic network that I ran for 10 years and I got partly the community buy-in, but I never could fully get the community buy-in. And so I'm like dragging the sack of people running behind me for 10 years, trying to drag them along. Then when I found the winds pulled me into Hay House. The winds pulled me so that there's 400 people on this call. The winds, there was a community buy-in. There's almost 1,600 people in the Wind Clan. That's when, because the community said, yes, this is something that we can resonate with. So maybe you've got a project in your life that you haven't quite gotten the community buy-in. And trust me, if you don't get the community buy-in, you're going to get exhausted and you're going to be dragging this around for the year and you're not going to get the results you want. Does this make sense with people? Are you understanding what I'm talking about? So that if you are traveling east, what new ideas do you have for this year? What new beliefs are you working on? What new projects? If you're in the south, what emotional attending do you need to do? Hey, maybe you want a relationship, but you're still carrying the baggage around from the old one, or that you're still hurt, or you're still in shame, or all of those things that you aren't available to what you are needing. And if you're in the West, what are you completing this year? And if you're in the North, what is your spiritual work and what is the community buy-in for that? All right, so everyone's kind of got a sense. Now what I want you to do is I want you to go with that direction. So, because we're going to ask Eurus for one idea, just one. You can do this many times and you can get plenty of ideas, but I want you to get one successful thing from this that you can then work on. So we're going to ask, what is the goal for this year? What is my goal? Based on the direction of travel that you were just heading in. So if your goal was to write a book, and I'm on book, I don't know why, or launch a course, but you're traveling in the South, what emotions do I need to overcome in order to achieve this? All right, so let's ask Eurus. Let's call in Eurus and say to Julie, maybe you want to turn up because other people are saying they can hear me. I don't know. Maybe you need to go out and come back in. Okay, now it's fine. All right. So we're going to call upon Eurus and we're going to say, what one goal can I take away? What one seed can I plant from this workshop? And see what comes. You already got it in your mind what you want, but let's see what the wind tells you. Okay? That's the trick. I want what I want, but the wind says, no, Renee, you need to do this. And then I say, all right. And then the wind always has a better idea. Like, I thought I was going to Maine yesterday. Instead, I came home to California so I could be here for this. And when I made a detour on my trip, I happened to see my book at the Chicago O'Hare Airport. Now, had I gone to Maine, I would not have flown home that way and I wouldn't have seen my book. So when I listen to the wind, it guides me. All right, so right now you're going to you're going to call upon Eurus with me. And if I have wind whistlers here, which I know I do, blow your wind whistle and say, what should this one goal be for this piece of spring work? I apologize about that. So go inside and ask, and maybe this isn't a windy moment, this is a quiet moment, and ask, what is that one goal that I can set for myself? That one achievable goal. And write that down on your list. Funny, the one achievable goal that I got that I was supposed to write down was that I don't have to say yes to everything that's coming my way. So learning to say no. Wow, how am I going to get my goals if I learn to say no to everything? So did you get one? So Chris wants to do yoga. Okay. Anyone else have one that they'd like to share? Okay, this is perfect. I was looking for one of these. Someone just said they want to create global peace. Now, in what direction were you traveling in, Julia? And somebody else wants to make themselves public.
You mean you're asking me what direction I was traveling in?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I've had this idea for almost 8 years. So I'm launching it in Switzerland. I actually came across your work through Lauren Costing.
Okay.
So I actually know a lot. We have shared a lot of the same friends.
Nice. But what direction were you traveling in?
The wind. I didn't really. For me, I don't really think about direction of the wind. I just know what my
No, when we just did the exercise about traveling in a direction, which direction were you heading?
Honestly, I just not know I'm going to Switzerland. So
all right. Well, I'm going to go back off of this for a second then. And when we did the meditation, you didn't find yourself going in a direction?
I wasn't really thinking about direction. I was just happy in the moment.
Okay, then I can't. Close your eyes. I need a direction from you in order to use this as an example.
Direction, maybe like the west.
Okay, so you're heading west. Fine. All right. Perfect. So so if you're heading west, that means you're coming to a completion about something. So in order to, when somebody says they want to do something for world peace, as a practical shaman, I'm going to say, no, what one step can you take towards being more peaceful in your own life today?
Yeah, I know. It comes from inner peace because Carl Jung is about
all of that aside, we're on wind work, so I don't even want to go there because so I just want to know right now, going west.
Yeah.
All right. What one goal can you do towards working towards your own inner peace?
Oh, well, it's to finish my angel fund.
Okay, perfect. All right. So write that down.
Write it down? Okay.
Write that down as your list.
All right.
Okay. And then can you mute yourself? Because I don't know how to do that.
Oh, sure.
All right. So we have a couple people who also want to increase their web presence. Why I just brought that point up was that when our goal is so big, like my goal has always been to be a New York Times bestselling author. Now, I came a little closer to it the other night because we had somebody who was very high up in the New York Times at my book launch party. But that's not my goal for right now. My goal for right now was what? To learn how to say no to something. See, the world peace thing is going to take care of itself as long as we start to take that one step for inner peace. So we have people, who want, they want to come out in the world. Somebody wants a book. All right. So somebody who wants that book. So what's your one goal for this spring? Is that you need to get your butt in your seat and start writing every day. And you were traveling in the East, or what direction were you traveling in? Unspatio party. Not sure if that's right. So we have people who want a web presence. We want a book. So do you get the point that I'm trying to make? Is that I want you to pick one thing in the direction you're traveling. So if you were heading east, one belief you need to change. Okay, that I deserve to write a book. Okay, yes. So that's funny that I just said, so if he was traveling in the east, or she, that the east, so one belief that I deserve to write a book, so I need to think, what do I need a new belief? That I believe that I can sit down and write every day. If I was traveling in the south, the other person who wanted to be present was traveling in the east too. So what is this belief that I have enough, that I believe that I have enough information? I told you when I got the Hay House contract, the first thing that went through my mind is, oh my God, I'm a fraud and everyone's going to see it. I had to deal with the idea that I didn't believe that I was good enough to have what I needed. So you might have a belief. So your goal, if you want to be more present and say that you want to have more visibility, is start to write a chapter, or start to write a blog, or start something. I wrote blogs for years before the book came out. So those who want to write, maybe you're going to start a blog. For those who want to be more present, maybe you need to get a web designer and start your web presence. Somebody wants to build more trust with the people that they work with. So that's probably somebody who might be going in the South. Now let's get clearer. Who are those people you're working with? You guys have these grand ideas, but I want you to get so specific that by the end of the week, you could say, hey, I made 2 steps towards that. One of the reasons, and this comes the practical part, the coaching part, that people don't get what they want is because they're not clear. My friend Audrey always tells me the angels want to give you everything, but you need to be so specific they know what you want. They don't know the difference between a wind whistle and a dollar bill, or a dollar bill and $1 million. So when we set, I want, $100 more every week, that's doable. When we say I want a lot of money, you're going to be fumbling about in the wind for a long, long time. So does everyone have something, a goal that they can set? One particular goal. Everyone doing with that? Under this? Good. Somebody wants to walk in nature more. That's doable. We're not going to eat the whole elephant today. We want one little chunk of that elephant. All right. So somebody has lots of material to publish. So what you need to do is start publishing it in a blog. One time I thought if I publish all this stuff on the blog, then everyone's going to be, stealing it or borrowing it, whatever. So that's a belief I have to change, because there's billions of people out in the world. And if I don't reach millions of them, I'm never going to be a million bestseller, am I? So if I hold too tight, then I'm not going to get my dreams either. But right now you have your one goal that you're going to work on. The next piece is where in your body do you have resistance to this? So mine that I was using for today is that I have to learn to start to say no to people. No, I can't do all of this. No, I can't do this. I had to say no yesterday. I wasn't going to Maine, because if I keep saying yes, I'll be fragmented all over the place, and I won't be able to get to the next book, or I won't be able to get to the right teaching. All right. So when I look in my own self and say, where does saying no live? I'm going to blow the wind whistle, because we want to see where saying, whatever this goal is for you, where the resistance to doing that goal. So those who want to go to yoga, look to see where the resistance is. Those who want to start publishing a book, look in your body, scan your body. Remember, this is your compass. Where is the resistance living in your body? Just scan it from either from your feet up and look to see where the resistance is. And I'm going to blow the wind whistle so you can kind of see where that resistance, where the wind gets stuck in your body. And I'm going to blow it so that it comes up your feet and goes all the way up, and look for all of those resistant spots. Could you find the resistance in your body? I found it in my knee and in the back of my hip, and then some more up through here. So yeah, so we have these resistances in our heart and our chest and our throat, because we first of all, the chest and the throat and the spinal cord, right? Because there are places where our disappointment, our resentment, all of that stuff gets stuck. Because sometimes when we start doing all of these things, we don't get any of them done. You know, for 20 years, I said I wanted to be a New York Times bestselling author, but it was only about 6 years ago that I really sat down and started to write. It was in my mind. So what was blocking me? I don't know, but because now I'm here, so it's a little hard. But so let's call to Eurus and ask if the wind can come through and move this stuff from us. And so I want you to feel yourself standing out in the force of a wind, and you can go out later and do a wind bath. It's in my book if you don't know how to do it, or on my website. And let this wind move through you and pull away all of that resistance that you have. So let the wind come through and push it through, okay? Feel yourself like you're out on a mountaintop and the wind is coming through it. Eurus, help us clear these resistances. Wow, there's a lot of resistance. Could you hear it getting stuck in the wind whistle there a little bit? I'm going to give it one more push with this other whistle. Hey, you guys, you got to let go of the resistance. You don't need to hang on to this stuff. This is the stuff you want to let go of, so let it go. Wow. Do you feel yourself a little lighter there without the resistance? Bend, move about. See how you feel without this resistance going on. So you want to move that out. Those who have wind whistles, you can keep doing this, and you can also get these wind whistles toolkits on my website. And you know, all of these sort of the wind bath and the wind exercises are in my book, The Winds of Spirit, which again, you can get. It's on Kindle right now. All right, so now that you've cleared out the resistances, so you're all ready to move forward with that one little project, not saving the whole world, you're going to save yourself. You know, maybe it's the trip to Sweden you're taking. Maybe it's the, you know, putting in an ad in a paper to get other people that you want to do music with, or, you know, putting yourself out there in a way that people are going to meet you. For me, it was as simple as, I need to take more time for myself, and then I will be back in my center, and it'll be easier to say no. And the one that I was shown, the first goal that I need to put down in my action plan is to get back to weekly hiking. And I take weekly wind walks, I take nightly wind walks, but that I need to get back on the mountain. So that's one goal that I can do. I'd like to get writing again. So I need to start writing again. So I'm going to write 500 words this week. You see what I'm saying? It needs to be simple. If you're a musician, maybe you're going to play music this week. If you're, you know, if you need a website, maybe you're going to start to write out your content. All of these things, it's like a simple 3 things that you can do. So right now, write your 3-step action plan. 3 simple things. Just checking to see if anyone had anything I'd missed. All right. So now you know that you can call upon Eurus, the east wind, to help you do this. I just want to tell those of you who are feeling some resonance to this work, definitely join the Wind Clan. Definitely get yourself a wind whistler's toolkit, so you can start to call upon the 32 winds in here. See? Ha! This, I just called upon, which wind are we working with? And out of all of these winds, and I'm telling you, there's a lot of wind cards in here. They're not all Eurus. Eurus came out. So definitely we're on the right track. Doesn't anyone else think that's pretty funny? I know. I'm glad you're laughing. All right, so then I'm only going to show you quickly, because my goal here is that to get new wind believers and get you to come over and really go deep into, how do I manifest my goals? How do I work with the practical and the shaman, the energy, in order to manifest my dreams? So there's an exercise in the book called Wind Knots. And I told you that I would show you the basics of wind knots so that you could do them. But I really think if you read, you're going to get a lot more detailed information. And also, if you go to YouTube, I have videos on it. Or if you feel really inclined to do this work with me, I'm starting a 5-week program, and there's many testimonials of people who worked with me in the fall and the last few years with this, about actually figuring out how you create new ideas each and every time, and how you start to work with the wind to manifest your dreams. And the wind believers who are in the Wind Clan, you can go over and talk to them, because they'll tell you that it just starts to magically happen once you start to cooperate with nature. You know, when you're pulling with the wind instead of pushing against the wind, life gets a whole lot easier. So let me just show you how you do this. So the wind witches from the Laplands, people used to go to them to get wind knots when they were sailing. And the same thing works in your life, where you can actually put energy into a knot. And you can do this today for those goals you set. You can put in your energy, and what you do is you think about, okay, there's going to be a day where I need an extra push to get that writing done, or an extra push to go out hiking. I want wind for that. And what I learned, the breath is the wind. So you could go and use your breath, or you could go out in a wind and collect it. And then I'm going to tie that extra energy right into here. There's going to become a day when I need a real push off my butt, off the couch, to get out and make more space by saying no. So I'm going to put that into here too. And then there's going to be the day where I'm just going to say no to some of the things that I'm doing altogether, and I'm going to move totally into what it is that I'm co-creating with the wind right now. And that for me might be, I move from a full-time job into, just doing the wind work. And so I'm going to say, when that time is right, this third wind knot can turn your life upside down. So you don't want to, just, haphazardly let it go. One time I did that, within the days I lost the job. So you want to be really cautious about this third knot. And you're going to put that in there. And you're going to save that. Then you're going to need to tie your wind knot so you know which side is the knot. And what we did the other day that worked really well was we dipped them into wax so we could see right where they were, right where that was. Or you create a little loop, okay? Just so you know which is the wind knot that you want to loosen up when you need a little push, the one that when you really need a bolster, and when you really need to turn your world upside down on its head. What do you think? What do you think? Did you get something from this? Are you feel like you've got some goals that you can start? So I hope that you think, wow, this is pretty cool. I've already got your book. I've got my Wind Whistler's Toolkit, or I don't have your book and I don't have your Wind Whistler's Toolkit. I'm going to get going on this. I'm making a very special offer. I decided that this spring, people are struggling. People are struggling all over the place. So I decided to make this wind class, this 5-week wind work class, affordable. It's only $197 if you register by the end of the spring equinox, which is the midnight on the 21st. And what you're going to get is you're going to get an in-depth work with me. I'm going to tell you right off if your goals are way too disorganized to really achieve them. You get a small group on Facebook. That's not the Wind Clan, it's a different group. You get to learn about your own dynamics of creativity and how you use them in creating what you want this year. Oh, thanks. Somebody's right there. It's well worth it. It's valuable and it works. Yes, it does work. And it works for me. I mean, look I got a Hay House contract. People say, how'd you get it? The winds got it. Because once you start to cooperate with the winds, you become like a tracker who's following a reindeer. A reindeer changes direction when the wind starts to blow. You learn how to change direction so you're in the right places at the right time, like yesterday at the O'Hare Airport to see my book. That's how it works. So you're going to get a link. You can register, save $100. If not, just come join us over at the Wind Clan. The price goes up tomorrow, 2 days from now. So if you have questions, email me. Go over to the Wind Clan, meet those people over there. You can order up your Wind Whistler's Toolkit, get the book and start there. And I just want to really thank you for doing this ceremony with me. But before we go, I'm going to set the winds free so that they know we're moving back into ordinary time. And if anyone have any questions, please type them into the box and I'll be happy to answer them once I stop, once I release the winds and people can move along with their day. Thank you. And I'm Renee, the Practical Shaman, and you can find out more about me over at thepracticalshaman.com. I hope you found this useful, and we'll see you soon. And hopefully you'll join me for the 5-week class. We've already got a great group growing.